Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk about something because this is pretty major, especially if you've been around here on YouTube for a while, because if you've watched any content over like the past, I don't know, 6 years or so here on YouTube, you're probably aware of the rise of sponsored content because, if you've been around here on YouTube for, probably like 10 years or something like that, like I have, you know that back in the day, there wasn't really sponsored content or anything like that, especially on like a wide scale. People didn't really make any money on their content or anything, like especially back in like the early days of YouTube. But as time has kind of gone on, that became a thing, especially with monetization and AdSense and everything coming to the platform, and then of course sponsorships and everything kind of coming forward as well. And that's where I kind of want to focus on today, because one of YouTube's first real big major sponsorships has officially gone bankrupt, and it's kind of signaling something to me. Maybe a problem with an entire industry, I don't know, or maybe it's just an individual issue, I don't know, but we'll take a look at the whole news story itself and talk about it, of course. But there was a time here on YouTube, here from like 2013 to like literally even now, where Loot Crate was sponsoring pretty much everybody who was major on the platform, where you could watch pretty much everybody on this platform, it seemed like, and they were, hey, this video was sponsored by Loot Crate, go down below and you can get this link and, get 10% off of this month's edition of the newest Loot Crate box, which will have like, this video game or whatever as the special edition, which basically meant that box would have like a bunch of different memorabilia and stuff from that game or that show or whatever, And for a long time, Loot Crate was like one of the big sponsors of YouTube. Like they really kind of backed a lot of YouTube creators, and I think a lot of other companies kind of followed in Loot Crate's footsteps, because Loot Crate was one of the first companies that really stepped up on a major scale and really started sponsoring pretty much everybody on YouTube, it seemed like. At least one that, I can notice, and probably one that you can notice, at least. They probably weren't literally the first ones to do it, but they were definitely one of the first ones that did it on such a scale that, you could notice it pretty much indistinguishably between so many different people. I mean, in a way, I think that they kind of helped open up that avenue for creators with sponsorships, because a lot of other companies started kind of coming on board and doing that too. And I think that companies like Loot Crate and their rise in popularity due to their marketing campaigns on YouTube, and not just Loot Crate, of course, because there were other companies that did sponsor on YouTube, but, Loot Crate being a very big example of one that did sponsor on YouTube and then definitely had tremendous success with doing that. Anyways, unfortunately, they've gone bankrupt. They will be filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and apparently it's not looking too good for them, because they apparently still have $20 million in outstanding orders to go, which you would think that might be a good thing for them, because at least like they still have orders to fulfill, which as a business you would think, yeah, that's a good thing, right? Like at least they have some sort of like revenue coming in, like they have a chance to make something. They still have products to sell, right? Well, yeah, they have products to sell. They have $20 million in potential revenue there, but yeah, they have Chapter 11 bankruptcy right around the corner, and they also have been laying off all their workers because they're filing for bankruptcy, so they're probably never going to fill those orders. And keep in mind, just because of what Loot Crate is as a business and the model that they follow, that $20 million in like back orders, it's not the same as like a regular company, because I mean that $20 million is stuff that's already been like paid for by the subscription-based service. So from what I understand, they've pretty much already gotten that money. So they aren't really getting a chance to earn that revenue. They've pretty much already gotten that, and it's really just, not going to work out for them, because, they're filing for bankruptcy. They've gotten a loan and everything, and it's all still not really helping them. And then on top of that, they've laid off like 150 workers, and they're down to like 60 still left full time. Another big deal that's been going around with this whole thing is that a lot of their employees, if not all of their employees, were let go without any severance or benefits, which is obviously something that, a lot of companies have faced backlash for in the past. Most recently, Toys R Us was a notable example of that. I mean, let's keep it real. It's so hard to fill, especially any orders, let alone $20 million in outstanding orders, when you're laying off all of your workers, your company is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and on top of that, they're also planning to sell all of the assets for the company to the highest bidder within the next 45 days. So the company is basically just going through a full-on meltdown. Now, if you're not aware of what Loot Crate does, basically they sell these like genre-themed boxes. They sell like collectible items for like geek-themed culture. They sell like video game memorabilia. They sell like t-shirts, statues, all kinds of different things in these different boxes, and usually each of these loot crates would have a different theme to them. Like one month you might get like a BioShock themed one, and the next month you might get like a Star Wars themed one or something like that. And it was a subscription-based service, or it is, because they're not totally out of the water, I guess. I mean, someone might come along, buy them, fund them, and try and turn things around or whatever, but, they were like a subscription-based service, so you would pay, whatever, like $9.99 a month or whatever it was, and you would get one every single month. They have all of these challenges in front of them right now, and they have all these orders to fulfill, and they have basically just a dwindling staff, and they don't really seem to have any light at the end of the tunnel that they could really, I guess, get out of this with. Now, there was a press release from the CEO, Chris Davis, and he said, quote, "We have worked diligently to overcome challenges. We are very pleased with our progress from an operational efficiency standpoint. However, the company still faces liquidity issues. After careful review of a wide range of available options, management determined that a sale of the company is in the best interest of all parties, including our valued looters or the customers and the employees. In the meantime, Loot Crate will apparently, with its remaining 60 full-time employees, stay afloat with $10 million in a bankruptcy loan from a Money Chest, which is one of the investors in their company. So I guess they haven't, entirely collapsed. I mean, they did file for bankruptcy, so yeah, they're in big trouble. They have a bankruptcy loan from one of their investors worth $10 million. They have $20 million in outstanding orders, which I know I keep reiterating on that point. That's kind of a big deal when it's going to be almost impossible for them to fulfill that, I think. Also, with a staff of just 60 employees, they said that they promise to fulfill all pending orders within the 45 days that they want to sell their company within, but I'm just going to be honest, I just don't see it happening, man. But apparently this is not the first time that the company has run into financial problems. Apparently just 2 years ago, they defaulted on a $21 million loan. So apparently their business model hasn't been working out very well for them over time anyway. So they're filing for bankruptcy now. Just 2 years ago, $21 million loan, they default on that. Apparently one of the big issues that people are speculating might have been a problem with this company is that maybe they grew into such a big empire in the whole, quote-unquote subscription box service business. They might have grown into a juggernaut in that too fast. I mean, apparently they started out with just one subscription box, and that was just its theme changing every month, which was the Loot Crate, which of course I was aware of and stuff. That was the one that was mostly advertised on by YouTube stars and stuff like that. I saw that in, a lot of the sponsorships and stuff. But apparently they then started adding in a lot of these they started adding in more loot. They started adding in these box upgrades and stuff like that, which I don't necessarily know what that refers to. I'm assuming maybe that's a special edition where you instead of maybe paying $9.99 a month, maybe you pay $14.99 a month and you get more stuff or something like that. Apparently they then also started doing limited edition themes like Ghostbusters and Star Trek ones, and eventually they started doing separate subscriptions for gamers, comic enthusiasts, and just about everything in pop culture. They started out because they just made this thing for geeks. That's really what their target audience and their demographic was. They made this whole thing really just to target geek culture. It was a subscription box where the whole thing kind of just revolved every month with a different topic, and that's really what people liked. Gave you something fresh to collect every month, you paid a pretty decent price for it, and you got your money's worth pretty much every month. You got to support your favorite creators at the same time, while also watching their content. A lot of people liked that concept. But then they're saying maybe that they grew out of that too fast, and maybe that they tried to, maybe overextend their boundaries, I guess. I can see that potentially. I mean, I don't know how subscription box services like this work. Personally, I never really bought into loot crates or anything like that. I was never really into that kind of thing. Usually, if I really wanted like pieces of geek memorabilia or something like that, I just went out and bought that kind of stuff. Like the whole Funko Pop thing, like I only have a couple of them, and it's like specific characters like Vault Boy and like a couple of different characters and stuff. Usually, I just go buy those things. I don't need like a subscription service, personally speaking, to give me those things and like almost like determine what I need for me, you know what I'm saying? But I can understand for people who are maybe way more into like overall geek culture than I am, that like you know, a much more vast amount really of different shows and stuff like that than I do, maybe to, you know, want something like this. But apparently even Robert Downey Jr. was invested in this company, so it was pretty widely respected. There was a lot of huge investments in this company. I mean, like it said, they have a $10 million loan from Money Chest. They just had a $21 million loan they defaulted on. Davis also did say that the transaction represents good news from their employees, their customers, and their other constituents. It will provide Loot Crate with greater access to the financial resources necessary to continue to prosper and grow. By utilizing the Chapter 11 process, we are able to ensure an expedited and orderly transition. I don't necessarily know how this one's going to turn out, honestly. I don't really see it turning out well, if I'm being honest. I think realistically, and I hate to say this, the only way this can really turn out well for them is if they change up their entire business model. I don't think their business model right now is working out for them. I think that it's way too big for them to handle, especially with the amount of employees that they have right now. It seems like that their problem is really the fact that they expanded out too much. And then on top of that, I think that the management really isn't working out because they're defaulting on all these loans. They're having so many money problems, and it's not even just at one time. It's been literally throughout all these different years. I think they need different management. I think that they need maybe a company to come in and buy them, change everything up from the business model from the ground up, and just maybe try and reinvent the company a little bit. Maybe then, but if it doesn't happen, I don't really see it working out too well. But I mean, is this just one individual subscription box service that's had this problem? I don't know. Is this the, you know, key indicator of a lot of these subscription box services going under? Who knows? I know there's a lot of these subscription box services like Nature Box and stuff out there that, you know, once again, they advertise on podcasts and they advertise on some YouTube channels and stuff like that, and they seem to be doing extremely well. I mean, I don't have the detailed statistics and information in the background like I do with Loot Crate now because of it coming out like this, but then again, you know, from an outside perspective, they look like they're doing pretty well. So, I mean, one can only hope because, I mean, once again, Loot Crate, it's a cool idea. It's a cool concept. I know a lot of people who have enjoyed the product over the years. I do hope the best for them. I would like to see them do fine because at the end of the day, once again, it's a cool concept, but it seems like a lot of change is going to have to come for this one to really make a good pull out of this. So time's going to have to tell this one for us. Until then, I guess we're going to have to sign out of this one, guys. So thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on down there. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps it tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. I guess starting a subscription-based service for a crate and signing out.